Hit live.
I did, and we are live.
God, I need to clean my glasses. Hello. Oh my gosh, it's me, Anita and Dolly. And we will be live in about 10 segundos.
We are live. Thank you so very much for joining us tonight at the DnA Authority. I am Dolly Cortes.
And I'm Anita Myers. Welcome. It is Wonder Woman Wednesday. We have quite a show for you today. A show that we really weren't sure was going to happen the way it did, but it did. And you know, the one thing that I love the most is we are going to be talking about, can't believe it, we're talking about the power of growth.
Yes, we are. Here we go. How are you, darling?
I'm good. I'm good. There's a lot going on.
Yes.
I'm just going to not wear it. I'm going to just, if I squint, I apologize to all those people that are like, why is she doing that? Look,
Okay.
I think the older what was that?
I do it all the time.
Yeah, you do. That's true. I noticed that about myself, that, you know, we're talking about the power of growth. There's a lot of power in the growing that I am doing in terms of business and learning and you know, expanding in my network and everything else. But the part that's not growing very well is my eyesight. You know, the moment I started wearing readers, when did I start wearing readers? I think last year. And I have so much respect, so much more. You know, it's grown for me.
What?
My respect for anyone that has ever had to wear glasses that still wears them, like their whole life they've had to. Was that right?
I've been wearing glasses since I was a child.
Like what? How old did you start wearing glasses?
Probably since I was like 6 years old, something like that.
I have a lot of respect for you because just wearing the readers irritates me. Like, you know, it's fun to wear them I remember when I didn't need to wear them and I wanted to wear those fake glasses. Like, I think it was the 90s where you can wear like personality glasses.
You should have seen me. One time I had blue contacts. I loved them. I looked cool.
I can't do it. I'm such a scaredy cat for certain things. And that's one of them. Putting something foreign in my eyeball is not part of the plan for Anita Myers.
You know what? I realized that glasses are like an accessory. So, you know, just like earrings or hair. And and so, you know, for me it is because I'm constantly changing it. But I
think it's great. I'm learning. That's my growth. I'm also learning that I can do that. I mean, look at me. This is not who I know I am, but I'm enjoying it a lot.
And you look wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So like, this is like this. Well, we may as well go ahead and share. You want to share the information that we talked about earlier today?
Yes. So, So for those of you that are here with us tonight, first of all, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I know Anita feels the same way. But we have decided to end our show. The DnA Authority tonight will be the last night that we will be with you. Anita and I are great. It's not about that.
We're not like breaking up with each other.
This is more, no.
Yeah.
She's stuck with me. I'm stuck with her. We're like glue. So, but the reality is, you know, tonight, and it's funny because tonight we're talking about the power of growth. I know, right?
Right.
Growth, and it has just come to a point that both Anita and I are just super busy.
This couldn't be a better thing. Actually, this actually fell on a topic of growth, and this is what happens when you are a business owner. When you are trying to go for the next thing, like, look, let's just go with, remember Destiny's Child?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then this happens, like in sync, there's different boy bands and girl bands and bands. And then someone stands out a little bit more or is more, it turns out that person, that specific person like Beyonce, they want to have her exclusive because she's got that star power, star quality. I think all of them have it, but this is decided. And in their struggle of working together with these types of choices, when it comes down to growth, they have to decide. She needed to decide if she wanted to stick with them as a band, and some people do that. And others, like Beyonce, had to make that decision. And it's, in no way is it where you and I think that one is better than the other. This is actually, have we not said how exhausted we are?
We're exhausted every week. What are you talking about?
Andreas Papakostas. Hi, how are you, dear? He knows about growth. He knows a thing or two about growth.
Well, see, and that's the thing. I mean, we have come to a point that we just, we have been together for 2 years, Anita. And I think that you and I have absolutely given from our heart. We have given, with the best intention. We have been serving our community. All of those that have seen us, have watched us, have joined us on our show, the thousands of laughs that we have shared. I'm really proud of that. I'm really excited about that. And I'm going to miss the show tremendously. I'm going to miss seeing you every Wednesday night, but it feels right. It feels right.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing is, I don't believe that any of these things are considered over in the way I view it. These are all stepping stones to newer things that we need to do. And it doesn't mean that we won't do a live if we feel like doing this together, if we're together doing something. It doesn't mean that in the future that we wouldn't have a seminar, a webinar, a summit. These are just opportunities for us to start looking at where we're at. And, I have to say thank you so much, Dolly, because it was 2 years ago I was just talking about this with Brian, that, 2 years ago, you're like, you got to be on a show with me. We got to do this thing together. And I remember me where I was, it's like, I think I need to go get trained. I've never done a show like I started to do one, but I thought I still lived with an old school mentality that you must be trained. You must go to school, get the degree on how to talk in front of the camera. And here we are doing this live. And you're like, I've done this before. Let's just do it. We're just going to do it. We're going to do it. And we figured it out. And I've gotten so much more comfortable talking to you, talking to the camera, talking to the viewers, thinking about the viewers all the time, wanting to give information. So I appreciate you believing in me and wanting to do this with me. And it did help me grow a lot. I really appreciate it.
I say this from the bottom of my heart. Having you as my co-host has been an absolute blast. I love that we were able to experience this time together. I mean, God, what haven't we done together? It's just been incredible. And I looked at the clip, that video, the intro video, and I
can't listen to it. I already feel like, how does Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon do that? How do they go through all those years together? No wonder they're like ready to cry, because this is only 2 years, and I'm listening to the intro. Yeah. And I'm like, oh man, it's the last intro.
It's the last intro. Honestly, when we made that decision, I honest to God, I had this lump in my throat. I just had this lump in my, and I'm like, the show's ending. The show's ending. And it just made me so sad. It really did.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. And look, I always think about people out there who are in this situation. It doesn't matter if it's a business that you're trying to grow and something is causing you to have to change direction. If it's even a relationship you're in, and I've had a partnership with someone where you saw it not working anymore. And those doesn't matter what kind of partnership we're talking about. It could be a love relationship. It could be a business relationship. It could be, some kind of, when you see these things happen, there's a lot of emotions that swirl in, when you have to decide, especially, we're having our guest coming on. We'll talk to him about it too. Abe DeBabno, he'll be coming on in a moment. He's had to he opens stores and he has to close stores. You bring somebody on, you let somebody go. But these are all kind of ebbs and flows that have to happen for growth to take place, right?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And you know what, Anita, for out of respect to our guest who actually happens to be working on a big project today, why don't we bring him on board and let him continue his day, because I know he's a very busy man and we're just grateful that he is with us.
I can't believe he's even I can't believe he's on here. Yeah, let's bring him on. And Kay, thank you so much for your awesome compliment. Love you.
Yes.
That's not what she said.
Hello, Abe.
My man. Honest Dave's in the house.
Uh-oh, I don't hear you, my friend. Can't hear you.
I want to hear his
How
voice.
about now?
There it is.
There
Yeah.
you are. There
now?
you are. Hi.
Welcome to the final
How
show.
are you ladies doing this evening?
We're good. We're
Yeah, I
good.
know, I'm honored.
We have been weeping.
I don't know.
We're
I don't know. I don't know if I'm honored or I'm the cause of the final show.
No. No, not at all. In fact, none of our guests, none of anybody is the cause of it. If there's a cause, it's like, you're going up a mountain of success, and as you go up, you need to take a breather. And there's a lot happening for both of us on both of our sides, that this would be the smartest decision to make, or I'd be dragging her by her hair to come to a Wednesday night
Yeah.
show. She'll be like, what are we talking about today, Anita? What's going on?
Listen. The other day I slept 12 hours. Okay, that's how much I've been running. I literally slept 12. I don't remember when was.
I don't think Abe knows that. I think Abe's maximum. Abe, what's the maximum number of hours? Right.
Hey, look at that. I slept 12 hours.
But look at him. He's smiling. He's adorable. He's happy.
Plus, Abe, what's happening in your world?
Well, I do have to apologize. I'm not in an environment where I usually am in my office or whatnot. We actually had to move one of our locations like in 48 hours, and I kind of thought like I wouldn't be here at 9 o'clock at night. I was kind of planning on being out of the office and home, and we literally just finished up 5 minutes ago, like right 5 minutes before the show starts.
You just wrapped up, and then you get the text from me. Yeah.
I got a show at 9 o'clock. So we're actually in the new location. Tomorrow's the first day.
Oh my gosh!
I had to actually.
You want to show us that new location?
Leave the location. Yeah, I will. I had to leave the center and the first location that I opened 25 years ago. We were there for 25 years. It's where everything started 25 years ago, and we got into a little legal battle with one of our neighbors, the landlord, and it went on for about 2 years. And after about $120,000 of legal fees, of which we didn't even make it to trial yet. That was just pre-trial legal fees.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we finally made a settlement last year that we would be out by today. And we wanted to. It was my oldest location, so we were in the back of our head said we need to expand and build it more modernized, like our new modern stores are. But we couldn't find a freestanding building, so we literally found a place a quarter mile up the road. And this is like I call it a pop-up store. We like popped it up and we built it, and this is like a temporary home, but this opens tomorrow. But that's our cigar room back there. It's all our cigars.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love
And then we got more cabinets behind me, and we got a little lounge area and a couple TVs on the wall over here.
Wow.
There we go.
That looks amazing.
But yeah.
So this all happened in 48 hours?
We built this temporary. Well, yeah, we basically kind of moved everything in 48 hours, got it up and going. We're still not done, but we were done enough that we can open tomorrow. There'll be a crew here at 9 a.m. to finish up some little things, but we got mostly ready to go, and this will be a temporary home, and I have 20 months now to find me a new home.
Oh my goodness. So like for real quick, when it comes down to someone like Abe DeBabna, if you don't know who he is, this is the first time you're watching the show. The last time you're watching the show. This is Abe DeBabna. He is the owner. He's an entrepreneur. He has, I think, 11, am I right? 11 cigar lounges and probably more to come. The guy is, he is so well respected by his management, the people that work with him, for him, around him. And he just recently, talk about growth and adapting something. See, this is a great example. And before I even say more about it, I want to ask you, Abe, and I want to be fair to the viewers. We did ask him before the show began if he wanted to go. He said no. He did. He said no. Yep. We're not keeping him in duress. But if you do need to head out, just please feel free to say, I'm out, I'm done, and we're all good.
No,
go smoke a cigar.
But he has is it, I want to say this properly, but like once a year, is it a trade show? You have this wonderful thing called the Smokeout, right? What would you call it?
Yeah, we've been doing, well, COVID was an interesting year. So we do this annual event. We call it the Great Smoke. We raise a lot of money for charity. And we get about 3,000 people from all over the country. It's kind of like 4 days. It starts on Thursday, ends on Sunday, main events on Saturday for about 5 hours. And our event last year in 2020 was literally like the last big event before everything started shutting down. I mean, like everything. So we literally was the last event that everybody started canceling events. And we really didn't think it was going to last a year, but when we started hitting June and July, and everybody was still canceling events, and they were canceling events scheduled in November and December. We had to make a decision on what we wanted to do. Do we cancel this event that we've been doing for 15 years, or do we try to find a way to innovate? And it was very interesting for us because we a couple of other major events in the country had tried to do what they call the virtual event, right? Because how these events typically work is you buy a ticket, you come, you see 20, 30, 40 companies, you get a cigar from everybody. There's typically live music, there's food, there's interaction. And basically what these other companies did was they mailed them the cigars they would have normally gotten. They showed up and they did a flat Zoom thing like this. This was their virtual event. And for us, that wasn't an option because that's not really an experience. So we sat in a room, about a team of 5 of us, and we were bouncing ideas on how do we make this still a mega experience virtual event and not make it boring. So we started joking around. I had come up with this idea. I said, wouldn't it be cool if we kind of like did a Jerry Lewis telethon, like this 8-hour event, like TV broadcast style? You throw things out there thinking it's not realistic, and then one of my operations guys said, yeah, I know the guy that can make that happen. He goes, yeah, one of my best friends for 25 years has a company called Showtech in Atlanta, and they've done the Golden Globes, the Soul Train, Kings of Comedy. I mean, that's what they do. They do television production. So he literally called them up, and the guy loved the idea. He said, yeah, man. So that's how that idea started. And I'll be honest with you, had I known what this was going to entail, I probably would have had a crew follow us for the final 2 months and just done a documentary on it, because what we had done instead of just canceling the event, so we couldn't do it, we literally went to this extreme and said we're going to do a high definition broadcast. If anybody wants to see the quality of this broadcast presentation we did, we have a Facebook page called the Great Smoke, and amongst all our channels since February, it's already been viewed about 70,000 times. But the whole 8-hour broadcast is there. It's been at the top of the page. You just got to scroll through the first 8.5 minutes. That was just airtime until we went live. But there was 3 sets. There was 4, 5 cameras. They had enough computer equipment, like you thought they were taking a shuttle up to the moon, and NASA had just set up in the place. But this was an extremely high-end production. Yeah. This ended up being extremely high-end production that we had received thousands of comments, because you had to get a ticket, and there's ways to participate if you had a ticket. But because we knew we were putting so much effort into it, we let anybody in the world want to watch. And I only planned on tuning in for an hour. I watched the whole thing. So yeah, it was interviews, it was entertainment, it was music, it was comedians. It was literally no segment there was 68 segments in the 8-hour broadcast. No segment lasted more than literally like 15 minutes. Yeah. And it was historic for our industry. I got praised by my peers, my competitors, consumers from all over the country. And one of the coolest things that happened was we received hundreds and hundreds of emails saying that normally nobody ever does an event like this where we live. we can't afford to fly out and go to travel or get off of work. Please find a way to keep doing this, even if, you know, the world goes back to normal. So, and we are. So in 2022, we're actually going to go back to, well, our plans at this point are to go back to doing a physical live function that's intertwined with a virtual component. So people who can't travel can still participate. But we ended up, my tagline when we thought of it was be part of history. And that's exactly what we ended up doing. And my team and I are all very proud of what we accomplished.
So this is the greatest learning thing, that learning moment for a lot of people as they listen to what you're saying. I don't know if people are going to pay attention to this in the moment or now, but when you have like some, you know, here you are, you're in a successful place, you do this thing every year in the same way that you're used to, you know, maybe little changes here and there, but for the most part, the template is the same. And then you've got something like the pandemic. Like, who saw a pandemic? That, you know, no one saw that coming. So now the pandemic shows up and you're faced with this decision that, you know, you could have gone in one direction to say, we're not doing it. Obviously we can't do it because we can't bring anybody together. But it causes these types of struggles that take place in business and even in life. You know, it asks you to look for the opportunities. It asks you to work a little bit harder to grow that part of your brain to say, what can I light up that I didn't light up before? What can I do to make it better? And by you doing this, by this struggle happening, by this COVID, you know, pandemic taking place, it actually opened up an avenue for you to bring in more people from around the globe. You know, and I think that that's something.
We did more people around the globe.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He took the initiative. Instead of just, you know, giving up on it. I mean, he tried something new and it worked. That's the best part. Good thing it did, you know. Good thing it did, but it worked. And now people want to
listen.
I love what you're doing about doing the virtual and the live together next year.
Dolly, I was telling people as everybody asking me how things were coming along. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay, but we're good.
You know, I'm in a new store. I'm not even sure how good my Wi-Fi is here, to be honest with you. But
we're just going to pretend that you're in London and it takes a little while to get over to us.
So, as people were asking me how things were going, literally my response was, it's either going to be the greatest thing this industry's ever seen or it's going to be an epic fail. I didn't really believe there was going to be a middle ground because a lot of it was technology based. We had to pay $4,000 for 1 day of Wi-Fi.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. 1 day of Wi-Fi because the broadcast required 100 megabytes up and down. And there's only very limited companies that can provide that service. But yeah, we got it. But so it was either going to be an epic fail or it was going to be amazing.
Yeah,
and thank God it was a letter.
How do you even do that? Like, how do you even coordinate all that? I mean, you had your
a lot of
a lot of creativity. Let's put it that way.
It was a great team that I have and a lot of hours of work. Literally a lot of hours of work. The production schedule. Listen, the guy who I worked with has been doing this for 30 years, and he literally said on the air, he's never worked with somebody more prepared than we were to do this event because this was live. We didn't have the opportunity to edit. We didn't have the opportunity to rehearse. My three co-hosts were flying in and coming from other parts of the country. So there was no rehearsal. So I literally had to plan the whole production cycle, every transition for 68 segments, and then cue, because they had teleprompters, type in the script for what we wanted to come on the teleprompters for each scene and each transition. And I sat in my office at 6 p.m. and I finished at 7 p.m. the next day. I worked 25 hours straight sitting in the same chair.
I remembered seeing posts where I didn't even know that your eyes would even be awake. You were like, I think your eyes were a shade of red. I mean, it was that bad.
Well, I can tell you, I could just imagine how crazy that must have been because I mean, I'm the one who's like behind the scenes producing this show, and I get lost, and I'm the first one to admit it. I am. It's hard. It's hard.
Well, the coolest thing is I get to put executive producer now on my resume because I'm technically was the executive producer of the broadcast, and it was a great experience. But the moral of the story is a lot of people suffered last year. Um, and I know a lot of people who thrived, and not thrived because they were in a situation where the pandemic benefited them, but thrived because they found a way to pivot how they did business. A lot of my stores were bars and lounges, which were closed through basically up until October of last year. Lost a lot of money. But instead of crying about it, we found a way to reach out through our mail order business, and we've started social groups and really worked on making a community where we gained a lot of national consumers and what we call phenomenal patrons who support us. So we found a way not to just dwell on the bad things that were happening, but we kept on finding a way to innovate. And what we actually became good at last year, is the way we look at doing business now is we're not looking to sell cigars, right? Because it's easy to sell a cigar. What we focused on is selling experiences, making unique experiences that consumers and people thrive about. And the cigar business comes ancillary. It's a byproduct of the experiences you create. And that's where we excelled, because all our competitors are trying to sell cigars. And we're not trying to sell cigars. We've gotten very good in the last year and a half of creating experiences that people want to be involved in, that the end result, byproduct of it, is they buy cigars. So
Right.
that was a pivotal, focus change for our organization. Is, we need to stop focusing on selling cigars. There are cool, creative things that we can do that will get people involved and want to deal with us. And that's what's happened.
Let me ask you a question, Abe. You've been in business for how many years now?
This is our 25th anniversary of Smoke Inn this year. We'll be celebrating.
Congratulations.
And when you going back in time, when you think about your first business, the one standalone, I know we've talked about the different journeys you've had, but just kind of going back to the point of the power of growth, you start with one. Typically you start with one and then you move to the next one. And my question to you is, how do you know that this is the time to do it? This is the time we need to grow. Because sometimes people become very successful and then they're like, I want to have more, I want to do more. And they really needed to do certain things for security purposes. So how do you know when it's time to grow?
Anita, you don't always know. Sometimes it's a matter of circumstance and situations. A lot of my locations were competitors who didn't run their business well, and we acquired them, because they were desperate to sell it and they wanted out. And typically when you have a bad business, the biggest liability is the owner. You take the owner out of the equation, the business is, most of the time, it's very viable. So some of it was just chance. I had one guy going through a bad divorce who was calling for months to buy his business, and really wasn't interested. And then after a certain point, he called me with a price. It was too ridiculous not to buy it, so we acquired it. I had another guy wanted me to acquire his place for years, didn't want it. And then when we were opening up our flagship headquarters, liquor licenses in Florida are a certain quantity, and there wasn't one available. So I literally ended up buying his location just to acquire his liquor license so I could transfer it to my headquarters, and then just convert that to a just beer and wine without liquor. And then before we opened up, after I acquired his store, another liquor license became available, and we ended up getting liquor in both places. So sometimes it's opportunity. Sometimes, you'll know. The biggest thing is in growth is that there's a window, and especially if you're in retail, because that's all I speak to, right? To do a second location is doable. And then when you get to the third location, it's about the most you can stretch without really changing the dynamics of how you do business, or how you run your business, I should say. But that 3 to 5 window is the torrential storm, right? And that's when most people fail. I know at least 3 companies off the top of my head that had gotten up to 5 locations and have either gone completely out of business or back down to 1. Because if by that time you haven't built the proper infrastructure to be able to handle, maintain, coordinate, stay on top of multiple locations, you're in big trouble. So that's kind of like the pattern I've seen over 25 years of doing this. But a lot of it is just circumstance sometimes and timing, being at the right place, the right time, opportunities. And maybe now after 25 years, I'm a little bit more strategic about what we want to do. But over when I was in my 20s doing this, we're winging it by the seat of my pants.
Right. I was staying up late one night, actually a couple nights ago, where I hadn't seen this. I haven't been watching television at all. Okay. And I finally said, "Oh no, I gotta make myself sit down. I'm gonna make myself watch. I don't even know what television's like anymore. I don't know what programs are on. Like I'm not." So we came across The Prophet, the show about building businesses and how.
I haven't seen that one.
You haven't? You know what I'm talking? I don't know if Abe knows what I'm talking about. But anyways,
I haven't seen
it.
I know.
We all don't watch television, but I used to watch it and I really loved it. And anyway, long story short, is what the gentleman did that was really important. He showed us his ability to work with other businesses that need to grow. And the issue that we saw was the owner of this business that has a few franchises. He was reluctant, like he didn't want to change anything, and his business was failing. So my question to you is, the watching the show was a struggle because my temper just could not handle how he was handling this person that's being his mentor, showing him how it's going to, he can triple his business, and this is what he called to do. And now he doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to change this. He doesn't want, he was being very difficult. So my question with this whole thing is the opposite of what we were talking about. When you have the opportunity to grow, you take it and you take a risk and chance and you do it. But what if you really are meant to grow and maybe your colleagues see that you should be meant to grow and you're hesitating? If there's someone out there who has a business that should be growing their business and isn't, are there any words that you can impart on that business owner to help them take the step forward?
Look, it's not that simple because there's consequences to every risk. And, without risk, there's no reward. So everything's a risk. But I took a lot of my risks when I was young. I didn't have children. I wasn't married. So you know what? If I completely messed it up and lost everything, it didn't matter. I start again. So there's difference. As I started having children, becoming married, my risks became more conservative, and what I did. So a lot of it has to do with where you're at in life. You have to be able to, some people are just adverse to risk, no matter what. So if you're advertent to risk, then being an entrepreneur is probably not your thing. Yeah, that's where you go get a job and you clock in and out 9 to 5.
Information. Yeah. So, that's really, when we're looking at the concept of the power of growth, we've got Abe Dababna, who has 11 businesses, lounges, and you have grown, and you've grown through probably stumble, risk, chance, like you said. But what you're doing is, you said something that was very important. I wrote it down about building the proper infrastructure. I would think that regardless of where you are in your life, if you can build the proper infrastructure, if you're just human and you're trying to do many different things and you want to grow personally, you want to grow in your development, you want to grow as a person and network with more people, if it's a business thing, to have that infrastructure, I think is a good point. When I think of how you said that in business, if you don't have that in place, it's very difficult to move forward to the 6th and 7th and 8th one. Might be the same thing for the personal avenue.
I think that's life structure, right? I mean, you want to build things on solid foundations, and if you don't have the solid foundations, eventually, it's not something you have that's stable. I mean, right now we're building a warehouse, our first warehouse for our mail order. We've been doing mail order for years through our retail stores, and we can't do it anymore. I mean, we've become overwhelmed. So we're hopefully in 2 more months we'll finish our first 8,000 square foot warehouse that we'll be doing our international and national fulfillment out of through our mail order business. But it just comes down to the thing of most people don't realize the time it takes. and how much dedication is if you're going to run your own business. It's a lot of sacrifices being made in time. Point an example. I'm here at 9 o'clock at night. My wife came to help me. And she's waiting for me so we can go get dinner at 9:30 at night.
When you're done
right?
talking, you're leaving.
So,
Yeah.
no, I'm just saying. But these are the sacrifices. I mean, and I've said this before. You need the right partner, because I've been doing this for a long time, and I tell this to my younger guys, if especially who are dating, if the woman doesn't bring out the best in you and help you become the best version of yourself, then she's just an anchor. And you don't need anchors in your life. So I couldn't have done what I've done if I didn't have my wife, who was able to support me and give me the ability to do the things that I've done, which we all benefit from, thank God. But that's part of it too.
It is.
That growth and risk comes at a price. So if you don't have the right partner, and I've seen this happen where growth has affected marriages and family, if you don't have the right partner who understands the end game of sacrifice, and it has to be a little bit balanced too, because it can't become neglect. Sacrifice can't become neglect. So it's a balance. But if both people aren't on the same page, that affects how you grow a business and what you do. So there's a lot of factors involved. I don't think it's a simple recipe that you could just write out. It's just kind of being able to look at what's in front of you on the horizon and adapt to the best possible road.
Yeah. Well, Abe, I don't want you to be at risk with your wife because you're not having dinner with her. She's an amazing woman. And I personally want to thank you for joining us and for being a regular guest at our show and for joining us at our last episode. We really appreciate your words of wisdom. We sincerely wish you, continued success, 25 more years minimum, if that's what you choose, of course. But thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our heart for being with us and for, just being who you are. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. I just want to say, look, I've been on the show now multiple times. It's been an honor. It's always been catching up with you ladies and trying to spread the good word and enlighten the many people around the country. So I wish you both the best in your future endeavors, whatever you guys choose to do and move on with. And I really appreciate you having me.
Thank you so much. You have a good night. Anita.
Yeah, it was so good to talk to him, and I'm glad that he was able to make it today. As you noticed, he's so patient through this whole thing, and his poor wife. I mean, he already knows this is what he does all the time, and his wife obviously knows. But considering the circumstance, I'm so grateful that he took a moment out to hang out and talk to us. And I like asking these types of questions that I do, simply because there's people out there that might ask these questions that might be in a rut and they don't think through in a way that someone who is so seasoned at this point in his life, 25 years, right?
Yeah.
These are all things that he took chances on. He experimented with what's going to happen. He's also taken losses. I mean, we don't know all those things that are there, but he's had to grow and adjust and grow and adjust and grow and adjust. And sometimes when the adjusting part turns out, people give up.
Like Anita, it makes me think of us, right? Of our show. It's coming to an end, and I don't want our viewers, our listeners, to think that we're just giving up. We're not giving up. We just have few things taking place. We are expanding in our own businesses. It's all about growth. And
this is nothing negative at all. Yeah. This is the fact that, when anyone who's watching right now, hello to everybody. If you are someone who owns a business, or you run an organization, or, maybe you're just running your life at home and you're operating with so many different tasks, so many different demands. At some point, if you keep trying to make all of these things take place, it will wear you out. And, I think that Dolly and myself, we teach what we can teach on our own within our own realms. We come together in terms of power. What are we talking about on the show is always about the power that we have within ourselves and the powerful resources that are around us. And so because we work so well together, just in friendship and in professional thinking, we wanted to be able to collaborate and share our time. And make, it wasn't like 5 days. This is a while. We've been doing this every week for over almost 2 years, right? We just celebrated our 2 years together, right?
Yeah. March 20th actually was our 2 years.
Yeah. And so, this is to me, the way I see it, the way I see that Dolly sees it, is we're doing exactly what we should be doing, what we would want anyone else to do, because you don't want to run things to the ground and then consider it over. You want to go when everything is going as well as it is. Of course, we'd love to stay and keep, having conversations, but it doesn't mean that we won't come back. It doesn't mean that we won't have other things to do. But I think you get to see firsthand that, we practice what we preach. So when we are growing, and we are, she's doing so much in her world. You hear it every single show. She's like, I'm doing this and this and this and this, and I'm doing mine. And so we have to be there to support one another. And me being kind of like this show partner, her co-host, when I sense those types of things, if she senses it with me, we've got to be there for each other. And that's what we should be doing with all of us. Yeah. When you sense that something isn't right, help them out and let them, go to that next place with your support. And I know I wanted to do that for Dolly. I know that Dolly and I are chatty Cathys, and we're going to come together and do things and talk and be on live anyway. So when you see us, you'll see us, and we'll figure something out.
We're not disappearing. We will be around. We will be around, and we will, our friendship is strong, and, she's my sister from another mister, and, it's all good. And I was telling her, when you come over, by the way, you're going to check out these things that I'm doing. But you know what? This is the reality. I am exploring a new adventure in addition to my existing company. There's going to be a new announcement coming soon, God willing. I can't share it at this very moment, but it will be something new. It's coming. And for those of you that know me, you know that when I do something, I usually go big. And so this is big.
So big that, this was the right thing to do for us. We don't want Dolly tapping out when she's coming on board. And even myself, we both have, we've really enjoyed our time
You
here.
have a lot of beautiful projects on your planner. You have a lot of things that are taking place, and a lot of things that are going to take a lot of your time. And we need to be true to each other. And I appreciate the authenticity that we have with one another, and most importantly, our friendship. And based on that, I had actually a quote for you, my darling.
Whoa!
I did pull up a quote just for my dearest Anita Myers Powers. So here we go, everyone. You get to witness this. So, best friends are the people in life that make you laugh a little louder, smile a little brighter, and live a little better. And that's how I see you.
Stop it. Stop it.
So, I mean, look, Anita Myers Powers, yes. Anita Bandita today. I don't know why you chose Bandita, but that works too.
I was in a mood.
No, you know what? We're friends. You became published also with my company. God, the things that we have experienced together, the shows that we have done, the laughter. Oh my God, the laughter. I mean, we have laughed so much and so hard for these, since we've known each other. It's like, I remember the moment we met. We'll never forget the moment we met. We had the gala, what an experience. Being in each other's lives, being in each other's homes, getting to know each other's families. That's pretty freaking awesome. So, I'm grateful to you.
Thank you. That is just the sweetest thing. You're making it sound like it's over, and it's not. It's just a pause in our production for right now. And, I appreciate you for saying all that you've said. I feel the same. It's been great. And, like I said, when we talk about the power of growth, this is some of the harder things, because you want things to stay the same. You want to keep doing what you want to do. But if other things are calling upon you, if you have service to provide and you're called for the service, you got to go do it. And, I'm hoping that seeing something like this today, that it does inspire you. We want you to, sometimes you're going to have to make those changes. One day, I remember this, one of the things that I had to learn to be okay with, when you look at these things, there's always growth that takes place from these struggled moments where we have to say, let's put this on the side. Let's say an end to this. I was living in my townhouse for, the deal was when I first moved in with my husband was I had a whole plan. Like I knew what was going to go down. We were going to stay in this townhouse for 5 years, and then we were going to get the profits of being in this townhouse, change it up, make it look real nice, and then we were going to move. And it was just 5 years. And the 5th year showed up, and at that time, we had no idea why things were going wrong because I wasn't well versed in problems of a home. Okay. I was living in a condo for, all my single life. And now I'm married in a townhouse, and I'm trying to figure, why is the door just kind of opening on its own? And why won't this door open? And what's going on? So the house had settled. The house had settled on the side, like on the corner. And we didn't know this. And we're spending all this money to fix everything. And long story short was, what I wanted to do was move out after the 5th year of living in that home. We didn't end up moving out until 18 years into that house.
Oh my God.
We were living in that townhouse for 18 years. Was it bad? No. But when you had a plan and it was supposed to be year 5, and now it's like year 10, year 12, year 15, you have a child, the child's growing, and the house is, like so many things. The house
is getting smaller.
Yeah. It got smaller in the first 2 years of our home, living there. But what ended up happening was this, we grew as a family together, and we had to make do. And really, I think about circumstances of other families, that there are bigger families that are living in smaller quarters, and they've had to do this through the pandemic. They've had to do this and live this in smaller quarters and dealing with a lot of the different things. And you learn to adjust your emotions. You learn to adjust who you are, what you accept, what you don't accept. And that happened with us. And we got through the 18 years of that home, which I never cursed the home. It was still theirs. It was still there, and it was still ours. And we got the house lifted, we repainted, we remodeled the best that we could. And what? Just at the time that we were starting to look for the home for ourselves, we said, we finished everything. We're going to start looking. That was the time that specific owner decided to sell the home that we're in today. And I couldn't be happier. It was such a great adjustment. Lots of different things we needed to do, but we did struggle. But I think you need to know that struggle creates change and growth. If you just go along with, what takes place and think about those opportunities, find out what that, create your infrastructure like we were talking about before in business, that it doesn't have to just be a business thing. I mean, the business is our life. So we have to create some new rules. We have to create some changes to keep us going. So I think that the power of growth, I celebrate it. I celebrate struggle more than people know. That, like, even right now, I mean, I hated to have to talk to you about this today and come to the conclusion that we did. I hated it so much, but I loved more that what we are leaving is a very good thing. And we had a great time doing it. And I know that what's to come is only going to be better,
Absolutely. And you know what? I hated that we did talk about it today. I'm with you there. I hated that it had to happen. But I appreciate that we were able to come to the right conclusion, because I know it is the right time. And
it is.
It is the right time, and it's just going to be a little weird, At first, I think it's going to be a little weird. Like I'm already thinking, like, I have to put my banner away,
I know. Isn't that something, how attached we can get to things like that? But yeah, I mean,
I even saw the mug you gave me, the DnA mug, and I'm like, it was.
Yeah, that's what I've got. That's what I used today.
Drinking coffee with it earlier. And
you know what though? I mean, Dolly, these are great memories we've created.
Yeah.
I think the thing that might be really hard for people is when you have to make a change because things have gone bad. And we didn't have that.
We're in a good place.
Yeah, this is a shift. We're growing. And that's why it's the power of growth. I mean, it's so funny how it turned out to being this topic, but that's what it is. You know, I know that if we want to come back and do something, we can, and we will.
Absolutely. Hey, let's take a quick break. Okay.
Oh, right. A break. I forgot all about the break.
Let's do that. I'm going to miss doing that.
I know you're going to miss doing a lot of stuff. I know I am too. But
yeah, no, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It is the right thing. It is the right time. And
Dolly, you're going to be most likely, if you have the time, you'll be the first guest on my upcoming show when that time comes. I'm going to be doing one.
Yes.
That's as far as I'll go with what I'm going to say, but you know that's going to have to happen.
Well, you know, I'd be honored.
Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait. So yeah, like, look, when we can get ourselves to talking to you all that's watching right now, if you want to type in, you know, what have you learned about growth? What is a story that you can remember that you can maybe share it as short as you can? But like, you know, think about, when did you have to learn to grow up? When was there a struggle that you experienced that had you saying, you know, I don't want to do this, and then you did it? Even as something as simple as, like, I remember I didn't want to swim in a swimming pool as a kid. I was afraid. I didn't want to do it, you know, and then eventually you learn. For me, I learned it. It took a while, but I finally learned it. And now it's like, I love the water. I want to be in the water. So it's like, these are the things that it's the unknown. It's stepping out of our comfort zone, and we're very comfortable where we are. And I love that this is the platform. I love that, you know, just like the townhouse I was talking about, you know, I loved our home. It was hard to leave it. It was very hard to leave it because we got so used to how we've adjusted to things, and it was a part of our lives. And, you know, there's a wall that we came across only the 18th year of living there. We had never seen it, but it's because we were going through stuff. Someone wrote, all the owners of all the people that owned this townhouse wrote their names. Like, if it was the parents and children and whatever, they all wrote their names on this wall. And I had not known this until I went to go take things out, and I kind of turned around, and it's like the inside of this wall. And I said, I brought the whole family. I'm like, look at this. And
well, did you add your name?
We added our names. Yeah, we added our names. And like, the thing is like, again, I know this feels like it's an ending, but I don't see it that way. I just think that, you know, we've grown, and now we're going to shift into doing some new things. And everyone here that knows us, we're all connected. You'll be able to watch us grow, and then you'll see us come on together and act like fools like we always do.
Well, you know what? This is the deal for me. I know for last, God, what year are we in? We're in 2021. Okay. So for the last 7 years, for me personally, there has been so much change in my life. There has been significant amount of change, significant amount of growth in these past 7 years, that sometimes I just look back and I reflect, and I'm like, wow, I actually did that, or this actually happened, or wow, that was my life, or like, wow, that was really cool, you know? Something I enjoyed, or perhaps something that I never thought would take place. But it's been 7 years of constant change. And I said this to you this morning. I know I'm in a new chapter of my life. And that chapter is exciting. It's exciting. It's overwhelming. I'm not going to lie to you. But it's exciting. And I'm looking forward to it. And I just know, I have faith that everything is going to be even better, you know, in the direction that it's headed. And I just know, I mean, I don't know. I can't say it enough. I'm just so grateful for everything that has happened in my life. Every person that has crossed my path. in every way. I'm grateful for the trials and the tribulations that have existed. I'm grateful for all these successes that have taken place.
I
And
think you're due for another book of like the 7-year growth versus the 7-year itch.
the 7-year itch, that's a good title. 7-year growth. It's got. I don't know if I'll have time.
A lot, yeah.
Well, now I have Wednesday nights available.
I know.
to write the next book, but no, yeah, let's see what happens. But no, there will gonna be, God willing, there's gonna be some new things being announced in the very near future, and I'm just excited about all of it to take place. So why don't we take another quick break and we will say our goodbyes.
All right.
Okay. For our wonderful viewers out there, I want to give a special thank you to our guest coordinator, Deborah Jimenez, and to our marketing director, Paola Presa, who have been helping us, tirelessly, nonstop, just helping us behind the scenes, making sure that we have a great show for you every single week. And we know that we couldn't have done it without their support and their time. I mean, they just really put in their time and their effort so that we can be successful and to be here for you. So I want to give a special thank you to both of these ladies, because without them, Anita and I would have been a little bit more cookie nutty, let's say, for lack of a better word, because this, producing a show does take some time and a lot of effort, but we had the best team that we could have asked for. So Deborah and Paola, thank you so very much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of it, for being a part of the success, and for just helping us all the time that you did.
Yeah, thank you so much. I can't even, I give so much credit to people who, come together to help because they just want to help from their heart. They're not looking for, pay me now. And, we were looking for volunteers to help us out because obviously me and Dolly, we were just doing this from our hearts. And, they came on board so effortlessly and they were willing to help regardless of whatever's going on. So definitely, please, thank you. Thank you so much for all the effort you've put in. It isn't over. There will be things that we're going to be doing. It will still exist in some sort of way. We're going to get back together to do more things. But, for the time being, whatever we were doing for the show and your help, we so appreciate both of you so much. We appreciate every one of the guests that have ever come on here. We don't have time to say all the names, but I do see a few of you already on here. Christy, Kennedy Ward, Cowbell. I love you, girl. Thank you so much for being a part of that show. Like, I love all the memories, all the guests that we knew, some of them being my friends, my contacts, some of them being yours. We appreciate it so much. And, I thought about when it comes down to moving forward, if you want to stay in touch with us, you already hopefully are connected to us. If you need to be, you can just click our names and get connected. We will keep the page. I'll talk with Dolly more about this, but we'll keep the page open so it's not going to feel like it's over. It's not exactly over. It's sort of over. But
not every once in a while.
Yeah, Dolly, is there anything you'd like to share for any viewers that might want to work with you in the future? Is there anything that you want to share that they can do in terms of contacting you or what you've got going on? I know you've got many things going on, but is there anything that you'd like to have anyone know about? And if not, then I'll take over with what I've got to share.
Sure, I'll be very brief. First of all, anyone can reach me through my website is usually the best and easiest way for you to get a hold of me, rosegoldpublishingllc.com. As you know, I am a publisher. My focus is to help individuals write to heal from their past traumatic experiences so their voices can be heard. And I'm going to give a quick shout out to a special lady that I'm working with at this time, which has just taken my heart. And shout out to you, Shannon Green. She is experiencing a very difficult time in her life, and she has joined the Rose Gold family. And I'm working diligently with her to help her get her book published as soon as possible. And so big shout out to you, Shannon Green, for your bravery, your courage, and for your life, and for everything that you have done, and for all of the amazing authors that I have helped and worked with. Just know that you will, I'm always here. I'm not going anywhere. Rose Gold Publishing does exist and will continue, but I am here for you. But anyone that wants to reach out to me, I do coaching, and I do also have my online course, Right to Heal online course, for those individuals that really want to just heal from whatever pain they're going through, whatever experiences that they are having difficulty letting go of. Right to Heal online course, and that information is also my website. But with that, I am done. I am grateful. I just love you all. I am. I have a lump in my throat, so I can't speak anymore. But I thank you. I thank you, and for my co-host Anita Myers Powers. I love you.
I love you too. I love you too. I know we've run out of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share what it is that I do and how you can reach out to me in the comments on the page. And with that, I just want to wish you all the best life ever. Be passionate, lead with love, and we'll see you all again very soon.